good.
Could you keep it down, please? I'm trying to teach in there.
Keep it down. What do you want me to whisper? Cry loud.
I can't train my students if you're shouting obscenities.
Obscenities?
Yeah.
What kind of bullshit is that?
Well, you know, I'm trying my best here.
Shoot. Anyways, since the liberals, the Democrats, the whoever else wants to make up lies about me and other people, I'll make some lies about you. And go ahead and try suing me for defamation of character, because the judge is going to be like, case closed, inconclusive. He was born. So go ahead. Y'all want to make up stories about me, make up lies. Woohoo. That's basically what it comes down to. You really think you act like I actually just call you out, just the Patriots? I've called out liberals. Hell, I've called out the guy who brutally killed Kenan Hennett, a child. Hell, I've called out Antifa and BLM because of their stupidity. You know what, Crazy Eden? I saw what you said. Never mind. You do you. Fact is, you and the Patriots and the liberals, that's all you care about is control. You want to control the masses. You were all right with me before? Nah. The reason why you were all right with me, because you actually talked to me. And it amazes me that people continue to downplay the things that happened to me. Like, prime example, I was abused by a punk-ass man. He was supposed to be my stepfather. When I was 7 years old, I was severely abused by him. You plastic patriots, you conservatives, you liberals, you downplayed that story of that story of mine, my life story. And quite honestly, I'm sick and tired of feminists going around saying, well, men are getting paid more than women. Shut up. That's not true whatsoever. In fact, Asian Americans, that's right, Asian Americans are getting paid more than Caucasian Americans and African Americans, whoever else. Fact. And you men going there and way, you're no different. You know better. You're no better either. You just spout off a bunch of bull crap. Oh, I don't need a woman. It's like the women going around, I don't need a man. But when it comes down to it, you need someone. Believe it or not, I actually got into prepping. I just don't sell fear. I got into prepping. I have. Ibuprofen, that's probably not up to snuff. Right there. Some more ibuprofen. Non-aspirin. But there's someone, I can't remember his name. I can't remember who it is who got me into it. he got me into prepping. He watches my videos and he actually agrees with what I said, especially when I said that, people, the preppers who go around and sell fear in the hearts of people when they say it's, World War III is going to start, Civil War. I mean, whatever. He actually agrees with me. In fact, I have a couple buddies who are in the Green Berets who are laughing at us, several people who disagreed with me because they think that, quite honestly, they're a bunch of, they're saying that you're a bunch of idiots. They're saying that you're a bunch of pacifists. And they said, personally, I don't see how anybody who's a pacifist be a conservative. Yeah, Green Berets, good buddies of mine. The same people that you swear up and down that you support, but then after it's all said and done, you jump on that bandwagon and you just, after that, it dies down and then it's back to your daily life, your daily routines. Because I know a lot of you got pissed off at the government and the cops for closing down your churches during the COVID-19 lockdowns. Some people may say, well, I agree with you 100%, or not 100%, 99% with you, Red, or 80% of what you say, Red. You can say all that all you want. Saying I create division. What are you doing? In my opinion, you just want to control the public. That includes you, liberals. Where were you when I was sexually assaulted by a 34-year-old woman? Where were you? I mean, you're the same people talking about, oh, we gotta do something about the sexual assault survivors and all that kind of stuff. Ooh, where were you? Trauma pad. So, like I said, since the people want to go around and make up lies about me, I'll make up some lies about you. Yeah. Yeah, I got lurkers on my channel too. Don't act like you're the only ones. Well, I actually told my stepdad at the time, don't touch me. What he did? Beat the crap out of me for no reason when I was 7 years old. That's until he got his ass kicked by a cop who witnessed my stepdad punching me right in the mouth for no reason. And I actually kicked my stepfather at the time in the balls. That they do. I completely agree with you. See, that's why I like it when people underestimate me, because they don't know my life story. I don't know how to pronounce your that name, Kalashnikov or something like that. People underestimate me and all that kind of stuff. The haters motivate me. Boy. And as far as people, they say, well, when shit gets real, that's when the people like me who talk about if shit gets real, they'll probably go cry to their parents who just cried and all that kind of stuff. I ain't gonna cry. I'm gonna fight. Hell, maybe a zombie farmer. I'd probably actually defend you. I probably would defend you, protect you. You probably don't need it, but sometimes you do need some help. Everybody does. Yeah, I know. Some people might say everybody has a sob story. Especially when I said that the reason why I don't go to rallies anymore is because of numerous things. Because I was thrown underneath the bus, because I have the opinion that people have the right to own fully automatic firearms without permits. Quite honestly, I'm going to say this once again. I don't understand it. Why you have to have a permit to get fully automatic firearms, let alone to conceal carry for a right you should already have. Everybody talks about the new world order, the one world government, a cashless, digital currency kind of thing. And people say, well, we're just going to use cash to trade amongst ourselves if that were to happen. Well, sooner or later, cashless society may come true. And I bring up what happened in New Orleans in 2005. I can bring up the Supreme Court ruling that they said that the cops are not constitutionally bound to protect people. It's true. Look it up on the internet. Seriously, look it up. I say that I said to a bunch of feminists that the reason why women don't go for the high paying jobs like hard labor jobs is because, number one, most of them don't want jobs like that. Who knows? Some people, especially the preppers, they talk about digital currency and all that kind of stuff. That's their they talk about that stuff, the new world order and all that. But the fact is, they don't realize that they're just as responsible for, the coming new world order. My gosh. See, the thing is, Billy, I actually called out the Yankee Marshal. I don't recall everybody getting on my case about that. I called out other people before I started calling out a bunch of people last year. It comes down to this, dude. Seriously. The lurkers, anybody who watches this, the U.S. government has fired the first shot so many times. That the preppers do talk about digital currency a lot. I mean, like I just got into prepping. In fact, this is the number one thing I got, the first aid kit. That's the one thing I don't understand too, NG. You know, there's a lot of people who says, like, what's that guy's name? Officer Tatum. He said, I'm far from a conservative. I'm a libertarian, strictly libertarian. Yes, I talked against libertarians before, but then I realized that libertarian, being a libertarian is the way to go. Libertarians believes in individual freedom. The conservatives say the same thing. We believe in individual freedom, but really, they're just like the liberals. No, you can't say this. Well, it's okay if you say this, but not this. You see what I'm saying? I'm far from a conservative.
You know, that's the sparring deck where Mr. Miyagi's great-grandfather taught karate on the Okinawan waterfront.
Lights on. Lights off.
Oh, be
Lights
careful
on.
with that.
Lights on.
Why, you think I'm gonna break it?
You already broke a door, and he stole Mr. Miyagi's medal. Did you get this shit out of it?
Hey, look, I'm really sorry about all that. Go back.
Well, see, Billy, the thing is, you know, people say they want to live off grid, but the government has the resources to figure out where someone lives. They can figure out pretty fast where, like, if I decided to live in like out in the country of Wyoming, like in the middle of nowhere, they could still figure out where I live. In today's political climate, you got a bunch of people saying, "Oh well," you know, it just amazes me. After a mass shooting, you realize, you know, there's people who say, "Well, video games and movies and music and all that contributes to the violence in this country." Huh? So just because I watch hockey, a hockey fight, that makes me want to fight someone? And you all say I'm mentally unstable. Jesus Christ. And yet you try to put, you know, those same people who say I'm mentally unstable because I said if anybody goes through that door unannounced, unwelcome, tries to threaten my life for no reason, threatens to shoot me, anybody tries to do bodily harm, doesn't matter who you are. I'm going to shoot that person who tries to do all that. especially threaten my life. They got something up in the sky, NG. They got something. It's probably that. If I can find my apartment on Google Maps, I'm pretty sure they can find, my apartment on something else. Has anybody heard any news of what's going on in Ukraine or because I don't know. With digital currency, they could easily control your income. And what in your bunker do you have the food and all that? Bottles of water. Do you have some kind of system that purifies water? Now, what exactly do you? Because I want to know what the prepping and all that, how to do all that stuff is going on. Freedom Inc. What exactly do you like? What kind of food do you get? Like, I'm don't know what to do with all that. Freedom Inc. Did you watch Guns Coast to Coast video? He talked about me. What is my email? What my concern is with the canned food, like, what's the expiration date? Like canned corn. Really? 25 years shelf life? Shelf life? Here's my email. Aaron. I would like to live on a mountain too. But if I was going to live on a mountain somewhere, probably somewhere like Probably West Virginia. But I would prefer to build my own log cabin. And if I had the money, I'd build myself, have someone build a fallout shelter. I think that's the big thing right there. There's some preppers who are not prepared to the point that they don't have fallout shelters. Well, what happens if I open a can of corn while the air's, because of the dust floating around that's irradiated? Well, it contaminates it. That's a good point, Freedom Inc. Apparently, what's his name? ZF called you feminine ink, whatever, in the comments of that video. I don't want to live in nuke. Death is better. Well, in that case, you might as well just. I can't think of any better way to go out and commit suicide, because I don't want to deal with radiation sickness. Because all that radiation and all that kind of stuff, I think your cells begin to hemorrhage. It sounds bad. So anyways, I'm not going to, of course I got into prepping, but I'm not going to take it overboard like some preppers do. You see what I'm saying? They sell fear and all that. They try to get you. It's nothing but fear mongering. Kind of like what the conservatives and liberals did. And, especially in the Obama administration, all that fear to buy those guns and all that kind of stuff. Same thing with Biden, and same thing during the Trump administration because of the coronavirus pandemic. Well, that depends on how many nukes, but it depends on how many nukes, nuclear strikes there are. Because if you look at Chernobyl, the Chernobyl power plant accident, apparently it's not going to be livable in certain areas in that place. Won't be livable for what, 10,000, 20,000 years. I thought Russia had over 6,000 nuclear weapons. I get a freaking headache. I don't care if he's watching. If he has the balls to say all that crap on camera, he has the balls to come in here or actually answer my how you say it, actually have a debate with me. But I'm not going to hold my breath over it. You know, it's funny to me that people say, you know, oh, well, you're too abrasive, you're too argumentative and all that. Yeah. You're too argumentative, you know, too decisive. You argue and all that kind of stuff. And they want to open the dialogue and all that. But then when it comes down to it, it's like they back off. I wonder why that is. Which is another reason why I've called out the fake triots. In Soviet Russia, truck drive you. Okay, Aaron. I want to look at the email. Will do, Aaron. I'll call you. Of course, my area code is actually probably be better off, and I'll just not tell you or tell anyone. I'll call you tomorrow after work because I'm going to be busy at work. Yeah, but like not like I think it was like thousands of maybe 1,000 people who live outside or inside of Chernobyl. Well, what got me was when he said that he doesn't pay attention to the Constitution. Well, hello, the supremacy clause, dude. You say that you're a statesman. The supremacy clause takes pretty much is the supreme law of the land. That's what he said, Freedom, that, you know, he's a statesman and all that kind of stuff. I mean, you want to be a statesman by all means, whatever. That and the others too. I'm pretty sure there's some things that guns coast to coast. I'm pretty sure there's things that Freedom Inc. doesn't agree with me on, but I see his point. There's some things that Tech TI doesn't agree with me on. There's some things that NG doesn't agree with me on. I mean, if I have to, basically, it sounds like I have to agree with you and A American and Crazy Heathen and whoever else. I don't have to agree with anything. Just like I don't have to support Blue Lives Matter or Black Lives Matter, point blank. And once again, I don't know where you got that, where you said, well, he just created this illusion of being a volunteer firefighter like it's some kind of it equates to it's equal to being a patriot. What are you talking about? This I don't know. Maybe if you actually talk to me face to face online and explain it to me, I could actually maybe I can understand where you're coming from. But even if I actually understand where you're coming from, doesn't mean I'll have to agree with you. Now, I will say this that a American said that if a civil war started, then you have to deal with what's it called? Martial law. I agree with him there. That much I agree with him. Because I think Stephen is not a moderator. You know, I don't know. It means, Stephen, it means that your comments are approved by one of the moderators or me. Here it is. If you support what an enemy of freedom, you are the enemy, period. Can't be this. If we are enemies. I agree. I wouldn't call it the black pill. I would say it's more like you already have the blue pill and the red pill. Why not have the white pill? I chose the white pill. We're all bad, freedom. Apparently, we're all bad. Oh my gosh, we have different opinions. We're not controlled, so we're bad. Yeah, MG. I noticed that. I noticed that too. So again, guns coast to coast. I don't understand what you meant when you said somehow he got this illusion just because he's a volunteer firefighter. That means it's equal to being a patriot. That doesn't mean anything. Let's see here. Basically, what it comes down to, like, I mean, I know there's lurkers in this live stream. It doesn't really bother me. It's obvious that I'm living rent free in their minds. But, when you have somebody who comes up to me at a Pro 2A rally and says to me, "Oh, well, you have high functioning autism. That's a mental illness. You can't have that." First of all, I was having a very intelligent conversation with somebody. I chewed that guy's ass out big time. I said, first of all, autism is not, again, I repeat, autism is not a mental illness. And I did say to the guy, second of all, I didn't ask you to interject yourself into this conversation. So shut the fuck up, stay in your goddamn lane, and learn your goddamn place. All right, see you later, Freedom Inc. I tear people down. And not only that, you got a bunch of people and, 2A rallies who are oblivious to the fact that there are feds and cops and a bunch of patriots infiltrating those pro 2A rallies looking to do some kind of harm on you. You want to congregate in these protests, by all means, do you. Don't sit there and say, "Oh, I like telling people what to do," when you do it yourself. Bruh. Yeah, well, that's what I'm dealing with right now. Apparently, I have to prove my innocence, Stephen. I think that's Remington. So, what's it going to be? Their guns coast to coast. You're going to do what's, I would actually give CRS Farm some props because he actually talked to the Drive Prior Faith. You, on the other hand, I'm not too sure. You talk about, you want people to stop being so decisive and everything, creating division and all that kind of stuff. I'm just organizing my ammo. But like I said, at least I can actually say that I'm willing to give CRS props because he actually talked to Dry Fire Faith about his ideas. Well, I do have this right here. I think that's Remington. Spear.gold, whatever it is. Five, 10, 15, 20, 35. No, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 46 rounds. That's hardly enough for me to protect myself with. And of course, you're talking about gold dots ammo. Yeah, it is really good. Oh my gosh. I know the lurkers are in here. I know they are. I'm not rich like that, dude. If I had 30,000 rounds, to me, actually, nah. It's always best to have a shit ton of rounds. Well, all the ammo is going straight to Ukraine now. But anyways, you know, I've called out the feminists and nobody. Actually, it's only the feminists and the liberals who said, "Oh, you're just dividing people." But when I say something about the conservatives, the Christian conservatives, and the conservatives who call themselves patriots, but really they say that they're all about freedom, but based on what they say and all of that, they turn around and say rights can be taken away. No, rights are unalienable. Therefore, they cannot be taken away. And I have this. See that red dot? It's Hornaday, whatever it is. But when I talk about those people, all hell breaks loose. When I stuck up for Ryan Upchurch, all hell broke loose. Especially when I pretty much put heavy duty country in its place. Yeah, I think it's critical duty, Hornaday. Critical duty, I think. Well, I wish I had 13 grand. Well, Aaron, most people don't have the resources, the machinery to make their own ammo and all that kind of stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would love to make my own ammo. In fact, a friend of mine actually said to me he has this some kind of machine that he buys the primers, the casings, and all that, and the powder, all the components that you need to make a live round. He makes a crap ton of 9mm ammo. What is it? 30-30, 308. Mm, I'm looking at something. Gotta look at Sportsman's Warehouse. Shotgun ammunition. 12 gauge. .00 buckshot ammo. Well, that's the norm, Aaron. Ammo sold out the other day. Went into Sportsman's Warehouse. Went into the gun shop I went to get my XDS from. Can't find ammo. Yeah, I talked to one of the guys behind the counter. He said probably won't be able to get some more ammo for a long time. They are, Steven. They're hoarding it. That's all it is, Tech. That they spew out that fear and all that kind of stuff. If I was to be some kind of, prepper, I can't really call myself a prepper right now, even though I just got into it. I won't buy a crap ton of food because I got to think about other people. Other people need to have food too, you know. Oh, wait. I wonder if Colorado Avalanche is playing tonight. Shit. They lost against the freaking Canucks. NG, our Colorado Avalanche lost against the Vancouver Canucks 3-1. But they're still in the number one spot in the East, probably the whole league. Let me see. Well, I have like by a large margin of it, like not a large margin, but like pretty bad. Yeah, Colorado Avalanche are number one in the league. And they're number one in the Western Conference. Might end up winning the President's Trophy. One, two, three, four, five, six. Speaking of which, I know it's late to this. So Markiplier said my thoughts on gun control. He posted a video, my thoughts on gun control on February 22nd, 2018. Look, somebody's gonna say, "Oh, there goes Red again, tearing other people down." Well, what happens if somebody is all for gun control, huh?
Hey guys, I wanted to make a video that's a little out of the norm from what I usually do. This is in relation to the Stoneman Douglas shootings, and first and foremost, I have to say that I'm incredibly proud of the way the kids have been handling themselves, how they've been demonstrating all across the country in the organization of marches and talks with people in political spheres. And usually I stay out of anything that has to do with politics or religion or anything of the above. But in this particular case, I felt I needed to say something because
What's up, Brass? Anyways,
some of my fans have been affected by this, and some of my fans are out there demonstrating about this. And I wanted to say something because I don't feel it's right that kids have to be the ones on the front lines of this fight. And I wanted to throw in my support and give my thoughts on the matter for whatever that may be worth. But to give you a background, I have an extensive background and experience with guns. My father was a 24-year Army man. He was a member of the NRA. He taught me about guns from a very early age, and he taught me to respect
well, there's your problem right there, the NRA.
them and how to properly handle guns. I have gone to the shooting range many times. I've shot all kinds of guns. My dad even built muzzleloader rifles as a hobby. So when I say these things, just know that it's not coming from a place of ignorance. And first and foremost, I want to say that I don't think people should be able to access assault rifles. There's no beating around the bush. There's no kidding about it. There's no exaggerations. Assault rifles exist solely to kill people.
Oh, shut up, Markiplier. The AR in AR-15 stands for Arma Light. My gosh, you and the liberty. This is coming from a place of, blah, 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 blah. Dude, that's the most ignorant thing I've ever heard. Didn't watch this video until last night.
And you could say the same thing about all guns, but assault rifles especially, they don't have any purpose in hunting. They have...
Actually, they do. AR-15s definitely have a purpose in hunting. Not just in self-defense, but also in hunting as well. My gosh.
A purpose in self-defense only to the point where they can kill multiple people with a lot of bullets in a very large magazine. And I know I'm going out on a limb and just saying this outright, but I'm 100% in the field that we need to ban assault rifles. And I know that people will say that gun control laws are not the thing that can change this, or at least they'll say that it's not the only thing that can change this. But in my mind, why not do everything in our power to try to protect our kids or our people or our fellow countrymen or our neighbors? And in the avenue of trying to attack this from both sides, why don't we stop stigmatizing mental health? Why don't we stop treating it like some sort of problem that people just need to bear alone?
I mean, I agree with you. People need to stop stigmatizing mental health illnesses and mental health and all that kind of stuff. But really, you're still perpetuating stupidity. Oh, I'm totally in the field of gun control. That's you, Markiplier. 30 million subscribers is not going to change my opinion on a fact that we have a right to own firearms.
That should be the first and foremost of everything, not just in these, but in general, because there's so many people out there suffering silently with mental illnesses that need help and are so afraid to go out and get it because of the way we treat it in this country. And also, why do we require more licensing and registration for cars than we do for guns? I know that people...
Probably has something to do with the fact that vehicles cost more than one vehicle costs more than one gun. An AR-15, what's the price range for a basic AR-15 without the mods, the grip, all that, the flashlights, the lasers, and all that? Just the base price between what? Hold on. ARs can be like between $500 to maybe $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. Dude, Markiplier, you're just talking about like what this guy says. Guns are a right. Driving is a privilege, and he's exactly right. I agree with him. Driving is a privilege. A right is a right, stated in the Constitution. Markiplier, seriously.
People abide very closely by the Second Amendment. And me, as a proud American, I'm very proud of our Constitution. But at the same time, there has to be some measure of control. I know that people want to be able to bear arms, and I respect that. I come from a family that was all about that. But that doesn't mean that we can't have some measure of control over these extremely dangerous tools.
And gee, basically, this guy, Markiplier, he made this video, my thoughts on gun control, in response after the Parkland shooting. He's totally in the field of gun control. He said, "Why is there so much licensing for having a car? Well, a car is like what, 20,000, 30, between $50,000, even for trucks." Exactly, NG. Exactly.
In the end, people will say that I'm spouting ignorance or that I don't know what I'm talking about.
That's because you don't know what you're talking about. You are spouting ignorance. I mean, you called an AR an assault rifle when it stands for, in reality, Armalite rifle. So you are spewing out ignorance.
Or that I'm saying things that are wrong, and that is fine. But right now, the only thing that I can think of is, why shouldn't we be doing absolutely everything in our power to help? Now is not the time for talk. Now is not the time for empty promises. Now is the time to do something for the people that are suffering most from this. And I want to end this by saying that these kids that are out demonstrating, they are an inspiration. An absolute inspiration, not just to me, but to everybody watching across the country. And if you're watching this and you are out there demonstrating, or you're organizing marches, or you're talking to the people who are supposedly in power of these decisions, keep it up. Because the world is listening. The country is listening. People will try to ignore you, and people will try to dismiss your opinion, but you are the future of this country. And you are the future of the world, and your actions dictate what our future will be. So don't give up the fight. Stay strong. And thanks for watching. Bye.
Alright, guys. I think I speak for most people when I say that I love Markiplier. I've been watching his content for years and he's always made me laugh. But Mark recently made a video that I disagree with pretty much 100%. A lot of my points in this video are going to be taken from quite a few sources, so keep that in mind. If I remember, I will put them in the description. So, in his video, Mark states that we need to ban assault rifles.
I'm 100% in the field that we need to ban assault rifles.
See you later, Steven.
Now, most of you would think that this, the AR-15, is an assault rifle. You are wrong. The AR-15, the AR in AR-15 does not stand for assault rifle. It stands for Armalite, which is the company that makes the AR-15. But Mark said that he grew up with experience with guns, so I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say that he understands that.
I have an extensive background and experience with guns. And first and foremost, I want to say that I don't think people should be able to access assault rifles.
Now, you can be fully right to think that, but that doesn't mean that a ban is going to fix anything, and I will tell you why. There are over 300 million firearms in the United States, close to one firearm for every man, woman, and child. By banning assault rifles, you have done little to nothing. People may not be able to buy them anymore, but there are still millions upon millions of AR-15s that would be in households.
There's no beating around the bush. There's no kidding about it. There's no...
Now, the debate about if driving should be a right, well, if that's the case, then healthcare should be a right. And if that's been implemented, then you would actually have to make healthcare, well, healthcare would be free. Do I believe that driving should be a right? Yeah, you have a right to travel, because it does say that. So,
exaggerations. Assault rifles exist solely to kill people.
You're right.
And you could say the same thing about all guns, but assault rifles especially, they don't have any purpose in hunting.
Mark, I hate to say it, but you are very wrong at this part about assault rifles not having value in hunting, because they actually do. Specifically, people use AR-15s for hunting wild hogs. Now, that's not to say you can't use anything else, but the AR is used in hog hunting because of how accurate it is. The .223 is an extremely precise round, and the AR-15 is an extremely accurate rifle. You could argue that you could use a pistol, but distance is best in hog hunting because hogs can smell you from a ways away in the wind. Hunting
AR-15s, I would have to agree with this dude. AR-15s are extremely, depends on the make. AR-15s are accurate. Now, compared to my XDS is somewhat accurate, but maybe that's just user error. Maybe. But even without an ACOG sight on an AR-15, still was accurate for me.
rifles are also an option, but being able to get multiple shots off on a windy day really helps to take out multiple hogs.
And I know that people will say that gun control laws are not the thing that can change this, or at least they'll say that it's not the only thing that can change this. Correct! But in my mind, why not do everything in our power to try to protect our kids?
Well, Mark, we can protect our kids, but keeping our schools unprotected isn't the answer, which you would think would be obvious. Criminals don't follow laws, and assault rifles would be bought off of the black market. If gun laws would stop people from buying them, then drug laws would stop people from getting drugs. Oh, wait a minute! So then you might be asking yourself, well, what do we do about our schools without gun laws? Well, we have a couple options. I like one better than the other. Firstly, we can offer our teachers extensive training on gun safety and have them all carry small handguns, such as the Beretta Pico or Remington 380. Now, the other
Well, you could do that, but in the school system, everybody is, even the teachers. What do you think everybody gets this liberal idea of gun control? They get it from the school system, from the school board members down to the principal, to the teachers and all that. And then that gun control idea gets passed along to the kids, the teenagers. I actually watched some video where a bunch of high schoolers actually said the reason why they agree with gun controls because they were told that gun violence, that's the two words there, gun violence is a major problem in the United States. It's not the guns that kills people. It's people who kill people. All you people saying, "Oh, that red guy's mentally unstable." Well, look at that. I just provided a fact.
Option is the one that I think can kill two birds with one stone. There are 194,000 plus veterans that are 25 years of age or older that are homeless. Now, why wouldn't we give our veterans the chance to protect our kids? And don't be one of those ass bags that says they're all unstable due to PTSD. But hey, that's none of my business.
And also,
well, when you kind of think about it, some combat veterans, some of them, I've seen even more horrific crap than I've seen. And that greatly affects them. It doesn't matter if you were a sniper, if you were a basic infantryman, you were what's the MOS in the freaking US Army? Something 11 or 11 something. 11 Bravo, I don't know. Or 11 Alpha, I don't know what the MOS is. But, those people have, it's like some of the veterans, combat veterans, they're kind of like ticking time bombs. Is the way to pretty much describe them. Now, do they have the right to own firearms? Yes. But see, this is where it gets tricky. Like you said, don't be one of those ass bags and say they're too unstable to own firearms and all that. I mean, I agree with you. But, somebody with schizophrenia, people say you can't own a firearm. Everybody put a big old stigma on autistic people because of what Nicholas Cruz did and what the Sandy Hook, Adam Larza, something like that. Those guys had autism, and those people put the gun control crowd, even the conservatives, put some kind of stigma on autistic people and say, "Oh, well, autistic people can't own firearms."
why do we require more licensing and registration for cars than we do for guns?
This is a point that he brings up that doesn't make much sense to me considering what is being compared. You have a gun versus a whole vehicle. And to answer your question, you need a ton of more information to get a car for good reasons. To obtain a car, you need proof of income, proof of insurance, proof of identity, proof of residence. Now, why in the actual would you need most of those for a gun? We're talking about a $1,200 rifle, which is paid in full, versus a machine that you get a loan on that costs about $30,000 or more. That is why we need more information for cars, Mark. And just to mention, there were about 11,000 gun-related deaths in 2016 and over 40,000 car-related deaths, just to put a cherry on top of this clusterfuck. I would give data from 2017, but I can't seem to find it, so we'll use the next best thing. Mark?
My faith in statistics, especially the same statistics that the feminists use against men and say, well, men are the main perpetrators of sexual assault or domestic violence, blah, 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 blah. Those statistics are skewed and flawed. What I don't know is what I don't know. Do I know the statistics on gun-related incidents, deaths? No. Statistics, I don't trust them whatsoever. Just being honest.
Mark then says that now is the time for action and not talk, which seems pretty contradictory considering that instead of arming our schools and making them less of an easy target, he talks about banning assault rifles. So in conclusion, Mark, just leave politics out of your YouTube videos, any other social medias, whatever, but there are hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of little kids looking up to you on YouTube, and they will end up forming their opinions off of yours. Peace out.
I think a lot of people don't understand that. You know, you got people forming their own opinions off of yours. People have been doing that with me for a while now. And I'm doing that with others as well too. You do realize I have an opinion based on what you say. Like someone doesn't like to be told, you know, driving is a privilege while someone says, no, it's a right. Personally, if it says that you have a right to travel, then you have a right to drive. That's just the way I am. And also, you know, going back to the whole combat veteran thing, you know, don't be an asshat and say they shouldn't be able to own firearms and all of that. But really, that extends to felons too, saying that they don't have a right to vote, they don't have a right to own a firearm. Well, then you essentially become an enemy of rights and freedoms because you don't believe in unalienable rights. Pure and simple. Driving is assault traveling. What's up, T-Rex? Better watch out. Apparently, talking to me is a bad thing. Some people don't like that. Yeah, apparently. It's just one of those things, man. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You got 11 people watching, and 5 people need to show themselves. I mean, if you got some kind of beef with me, you settle it with right here with me. You got some kind of beef with Alan, you settle it with him. You got some kind of beef with Billy, you settle it with him. You got some kind of beef with Brass, you settle it with him. You got some kind of beef with NG, T-Rex, and something, Kalashnikov, whatever, you settle it with those people. That's what it boils down to. Guns, and gadgets, even guns coast to coast. You got some kind of problem. Come on. Boils down to the reason why I actually called out the wannabe patriots. I call them wannabe patriots for a reason. You know, if you don't believe in unalienable, if you go around and say, well, felons don't have a right to vote, don't have a right to own firearms, then simply put, you don't believe in and unalienable rights. Simple as that. When you go around and you say something about civil war, but you don't act on your promises, you deserve to be called out. I don't care if it's by me or anybody else. Let's see. I've actually said that the courts is where our rights have been compromised the most. I mean, look what the court ruling that they just ruled in the Supreme Court, that healthcare workers have to get the COVID-19 vaccine and other workers, they don't have to get the COVID-19. That is a violation of everyone's rights. The Heller versus District of Columbia case, 2008, that did more harm on gun rights than good. Well, there's another guy, T-Rex, guns coast to coast, and I have people saying I'm mentally unstable and all that. And someone who has a mental illness probably won't be able to obtain a, pass a background check to get a freaking, concealed handgun permit. And this same person, Guns Coast to Coast, says, well, I don't understand what he meant. Maybe he needs to tell me. He said, apparently him mentioning that he's a volunteer firefighter and blah, 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 and all that stuff. And he has this illusion just because he's a volunteer firefighter that it's equal to it's basically the same thing as being a patriot. What kind of logic is that? That's just, I don't know what kind of logic that is. Just like I don't understand the logic that behind of calling and contacting your representatives just to tell them, stop violating my rights while they have callous knees begging for table scraps, begging for their freaking rights and all that kind of crap. And I don't understand that point of view. I really don't. If you ask me, that's some submissive bull crap. And it's funny that people want to sit there and I'm pretty sure someone's going to say the same thing about me. I'm so sick and tired of people being armchair quarterbacks. But look what you're doing. You're talking shit and saying, well, I'm going to do something, but not until I'm backed into a corner. What happens if it's too late? That's what I've been trying to say. These gun confiscation raids, they are fast, sudden. Hardly enough time for you to react. I tell you what is action. You remember the Boston Tea Party? The American colonists? They dumped tea in Boston Harbor. That's action. The First Amendment auditors that you all say, oh, well, they're baiting the police. Well, if that's the case, then why do the police take the bait? If that's true, if they're baiting the police. First Amendment auditors like Bay Area Transparency, Joe Cool. I actually talked to Joe Cool on Freedom Inc.'s channel. He knows what he's talking about. Those guys, those guys and girls, the First Amendment auditors, let me say that, the First Amendment auditors, they're doing something. What are you doing? I see a bunch of people on Guns and Gadgets channel and Codaboy 32 Tacticals videos and Guns and Gadgets videos to it as well that we're way overdue of a rebellion, a civil war, and all that kind of stuff. I mean, if you're going to talk a big game, like, for instance, well, the tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants, then back it up. Back it up. Don't just talk about it, just do it. Y'all say you're against big government, but yet you support a government entity, the cops. You know, the same people who's going to come to your doorstep and just basically say, "Hey, give me your guns. And if you don't give us your guns, need I remind you what we did to Duncan Lemp and Gary Willis?" Yeah. It amazes me. A lot of you were all, you know, in CRS Farms' corner after he was taken into custody by the freaking feds, but you said nothing about Duncan Lemp, about Gary Willis, and about Sean Rowe, and about Chelsea. What's her face? Can't remember last name now. Those people died in extreme risk protection order raids. You claim that you care about those people, but really, I don't see it. You all talk about a cashless society. You talk about New World Order. You talk about the Democrats, you know, want to infringe on your rights and all that kind of stuff, and how you're so sick and tired of it. At one point, when is enough enough? Because from what I've seen, you like to take it up the ass, don't you? Yeah, you do. You like taking up the ass. You like the government bending you over. Oh, oh, that's tearing people down. Yeah. Mm. Woohoo. What a joke. Instead of saying all that bullcrap, how about you do a video response and say, well, you're wrong because you're too decisive and all that kind of stuff, which I'm not going to agree with you one bit. Oh, boo-hoo. 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 Digital currency. Boo-hoo. Boo-hoo. New World Order. One world government. Boo-hoo. Boo-hoo. You know, from what I've seen, you're the sensitive Sallies. Prime example. Let me share a video. Outlaw. Now, yes, he's talking about Black Rifle Coffee Company, but he makes a good point.
Do I think the article written about Black Rifle Coffee Company was a hit piece? No. And here's why. I'm drinking Black Rifle coffee right gosh dang now, son, and I like it, man. I feel like this I feel like I gotta protect my friends or something like that, man. The reason why I'm making this is because, well, I always post about Black Rifle. They sent me some mugs and some bags of coffee the other day. I posted about it on social media. I didn't know what the tits was going on at the time. And my DMs get blown up like, hey, man, you shouldn't be promoting them. They're a freaking liberal organization. They hate the customers and all this other stuff. And I'm like, what? I know these guys personally. I like these guys. So I start doing a little digging. And I think what's going on is a whole bunch of confusion, right? Like when we were back in high school and I couldn't tell if I was gay. That's what's going on right now. And I want to give a little explanation, okay? First thing.
That's basically what's going on here. You know, there is a failure of communication. I agree. But really, if you don't want to talk to me, but I want to talk to you, Well, there you go.
Things first. I think I need to go change my pants. People need to stop taking life so gosh dang serious, man. They see something on the freaking internet, dude, and they just get all gosh dang riled up and they don't know how to act. And I've been seeing some of y'all act in my DMs, man, and I ain't proud of y'all, dude. I'm actually.
It amazes me that what he just said, everybody takes their life so seriously, and he's right. Everybody looks at the internet, and it just creates so much, you got so many people being riled up by others. You look at the people calling for a civil war. Oh, we got to put Donald J. Trump back in office, guys. Let's just do that. Oh, I'm so sick. I'm worried about the future of this country. Boo-hoo. Boo-hoo. Oh. I can't make generalizations. Oh, I can't tear people down. Says the very people who tear other people down who they don't agree with. I mean, prime example. Oh, you can't protest because you're peacefully protesting against police brutality. Never mind the riots. Okay, let's just push that off to the side. Yeah, I'm so sick and tired of Antifa members and BLM supporters. Some BLM supporters creating, inciting violence and all that, and protests and all that bullshit. But you're the same people, the sensitive Sallies, the snowflakes, who goes around and tells the BLM supporters, well, even though you're peacefully protesting, I don't agree. I think it's stupid. Or you say this, you don't have a right to peacefully protest because I don't agree with you. Yeah. Give me a break.
Actually kind of disappointed, man, so we're going to get our facts straight today. Oh, yeah, that's the one. Get a little killer filler. Dipping an outlaw mitt today, man. OutlawDip.com. Get you some, son. Straight up freaking lip candy. Let me get some freaking throat candy here.
That reminds me.
Now, okay. Before I get into all this stuff, just know that I'm friends with these guys. I've been friends with them for quite a while. I've known Matt for a long time. I've known Jared. I don't know Evan, the CEO. I've never met him before, but we have a lot of mutual friends, and I like those guys. I've hung out with them. I've done their podcast, the Free Range American podcast. They're great guys, right? So,
apparently, Outlaw's talking about Black Rifle Company, and how he's sick and tired of people, just talking shit, basically.
When I hear all these things in my DM, like, okay, they don't care about their customers, and they're a liberal, they're a liberal organization, and all this stuff. Like, I'm like, what? I think there's some people need to get their facts straight. So if you guys don't know, the New York Times wrote an article about Black Rifle Coffee Company last week, I believe it was. Oh, my jug, son of a bitch, dude. Look at that sexy thing. Now, when I say this New York Times article was not a hit piece, in my opinion, and some people might completely disagree with that and say, no, it's definitely a hit piece, man. They're trying to freaking tank the company. I don't think that was the case. Obviously, Black Rifle Coffee invited them down. They took pictures, they asked them questions and all that kind of stuff. And, now you got to think as Black Rifle Coffee Company, being a conservative company, being an veteran-owned company, and have a bunch of veteran employees, and they're pro-America, pro-2A, going to the New York Times, I don't think they're stupid. I don't think they're going to think that every single thing the New York Times says is going to be, perfectly aligned with their views and thoughts, okay? Let's open this article and let's just read the first line, and I'll give you an example of why I don't think it's a hit piece, but I think, they could have worded things differently. The title of the article is, Can the Black Rifle Coffee Company Become the Starbucks of the Right? So here's the first line. The company doubled its sales last year by leaning into America's culture war. It's also trying to distance itself from some of its new customers. Okay, you could obviously read this as someone from the right and be like, "What the hell? These freaking guys? They're trying to distance themselves from us. They're totally gonna fuck us. Yeah, they're fucking us right now. guys want to get hot dogs?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
You got to be smarter than what you're working with here. You need to go into reading this article realizing that it's a left-wing company in New York Times, obviously, right? We've seen this throughout the whole Trump presidency, and they're writing an article about a company that obviously leans right. Now, do I think the New York Times article could have worded things differently to not trigger some people? Yes, but
I agree. The New York Times should have worded things differently. You know, just to to not create confusion. But of course, some news outlets do that just to create division, and yet you all want to sit there and say that I've divided others. Look at the New York Times, dude.
Journalists, and as everybody knows, journalists nowadays do things to trigger people to get more clicks on their article, and I'm sure that they got a lot of clicks on this one because it created an outrage from a lot of conservatives because of the way that they interpreted something a leftist said about a right-wing company. I don't want to put words in their mouth saying it's a right-wing company or anything. That's just the way I perceive it, okay? Obviously, veteran-owned, like I said, veteran-run. I know the guys personally. They're great. They're pro-2A, pro-America, which
I'm going to have to disagree with Outlaw there. Being veteran-owned, that's really nothing special. Just my opinion. That just goes along the lines of troop worship. That's the only thing I disagree with them on.
which a lot of other companies aren't like that, dude. Obviously, yeah, they could have worded it differently. But on either side, you're never going to get that anymore with the society we live in where there's a right and a left, and there's a distinct line in the middle, you know what I'm saying? And each side, the left and the right, is run like a business organization, and they have different verticals going off of it that run all the way down to personal people with social media pages that are posting political things when they have no degree or anything. They could just be some loser in their freaking mom's basement, you know? I also want to state this at the very beginning. Well, this isn't the very beginning. I guess we're a couple minutes in here, but I want to state this. We're talking about a coffee company, okay? We're not talking about the CEO, Evan Hafer, running for gosh dang president of the United States, all right? So when you hear words from a CEO of a company, you know, you shouldn't be basing your, I'm just going to stop buying Black Rifle now because of something he said. You know, I buy freaking, I don't know, Stanley. I got a gosh dang freaking tape measure right here. If the CEO of Stanley came out and was like, I freaking hate pigs and I love pigs, you know, am I going to like stop buying Stanley? Here's another issue. We're at the point in our society where social media is so big, where any one word said by someone can be turned into a viral video, a viral article, or a hit piece, because it makes the person making the video or article or hit piece popular. And they don't.
I'm going to have to agree with them there. Social media has desensitized people to the point it's just they're brain dead, brainwashed. The liberals, the conservatives, groups like Me Too, the feminists, the Proud Boys, the Boogaloo Boys, you name it, they're all brainwashed.
Don't care about the repercussions that might come on them because people's attention spans right now are like this, man. They're so freaking quick that they'll forget about it the next day, and then they can just make another viral, get another viral soundbite or something like that and put their opinion out there. Social media has become a platform. I'm just thinking about this now. Social media has become the platform where anyone, doesn't matter who you are, can become famous for one person giving their opinion on a subject where there's a lot of confusion and nobody knows all the facts. Because you didn't hear it from the horse's mouth. You heard it from a chain of 16 other people that heard it.
And that's exactly what's going on directed to me. Yep. Confusion.
They're giving their opinion on what they said, you know? There's a lot of confusion from a lot of people. You make a video on it where, this side really agrees with you and you blow up. It's a weird time, man. And it definitely ain't freaking healthy. Context is the main word here, right? Context is a big word that is getting lost right now. And context is the most important freaking thing. And this is why it's the most important thing before you judge people, especially, like it's the hardest thing when you're talking about a president of the United States, right? Because a president is so, everything, people write words for him, blah, blah, blah. Let me give you a hypothetical example on how context is important. I'm going to use Joe Biden, President Joe Biden as an example. Let's say some far right-wing company comes out and they say, hey, Joe Biden just said that he likes kids. Obviously, he's a pedophile, right? They make this big freaking news article about it. But then you got the other side who's like, hey, man, where's the freaking context? You're messing up. We saw this a lot in the Trump presidency, right? And this is my example. But when you go to look at the full conversation with Joe Biden, the interviewer asks him, hey, it seems like you hate kids. Do you really? And then Joe Biden responds and says, I like kids. I don't know what you're talking about. But they just took that little soundbite of I like kids because it fit their narrative. And then they put that out there. And then everybody judges, oh my gosh, he's a freaking pet, whatever. Maybe that was a bad example because, some people do think that. But anyways, you get my point. And we've seen, the left do this with Trump when he was president and make him seem like this horrible bad person by taking things he said out of context and creating this illusion that he is this horrible person and all this kind of crap, right? But now you've got a leftist organization in the New York Times article about a veteran-owned America gun-toting company as in Black Rifle Coffee, and now you've got conservatives listening to the New York Times? What's going on here? They've got a track record of never giving full context. They've got a track record of adding little jabs and stuff after quotes and things like that.
Yeah, I don't understand that fact. You conservatives, you listen to New York Times because of a certain topic that riles you up and all that, or vice versa, especially what you see in Fox News. The liberals get all riled up because someone said from Fox News about this or that. Oh my gosh. All news is fake news.
To fit their narrative better. But it's like a lot of these conservatives just forgot about that. And then they judge Evan, Matt, Jared, the rest of the Black Rifle Coffee Company on a left-wing company writing an article about them. So freaking out of this world, man. People are so quick to cancel them. But guys, you got to remember, we're talking about a company that does a lot for the veteran community. Probably the number one company of all time that does stuff for the veteran community. I said that I'm not going to talk about the things that Evan said, the questions that he was asked. God dang, man. God damn, on my lip, man. It makes me want to spit. I said I wasn't going to get into Evan's comments that people had issues with and stuff because the full context wasn't there. He actually came out with an Instagram video recently giving the full context of what he meant by certain things that wasn't given in the New York Times article. I also want to bring up that when you meet anyone in person, let's talk about in person. When you meet anyone in person, do you automatically think that you're going to agree with them on every single point? I mean, on every single issue ever? Do you think there's anyone in the world that actually agrees on the same line as you? Maybe, but you'd be pretty ignorant to think that. But because you're in the safe space of your home, in an air-conditioned house, sitting on your couch, watching Roseanne, and you're scrolling on your phone, and you see something that triggers you from a guy that is doing the Lord's work out there with the same ethics and political views as you, but you still want to cancel him. And he's on your side defending America and what it stands for, then I think you have the bigger problem, buddy.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, Red said something about the feminists. Red said something about the cops. Red said something about Black Lives Matter. Red said something about this group or that group of people. Oh my freaking gosh. And yet you all are so quick to cancel me. The same people. You say, oh, I don't believe in cancel culture, yet you try to pull that crap on me. Oh man. As far as I'm concerned, you're just like the liberals.
The guy and was just going crazy about this whole thing. I want to read his bio to you really quick. The government and leaders of industry want you dead. That's it. That was his Instagram bio. These are the type of people that are so freaking triggered right now. It's like they forgot about the past 4 years of the leftists getting all triggered and stuff like that, and now he's turned into one. Just remember one thing, okay? These guys are actually out there living it. These guys are actually out there doing good for the community. These guys are actually out there hiring veterans. I think I read somewhere that they've got hundreds and hundreds and maybe even thousands of veterans working for Black Rifle Coffee Company, doing the Lord's work. Like I said, they're doing it, man. You're sitting there as a couch potato on your freaking Instagram. What are you doing? What makes you so special that everybody's going to listen to you? I mean, you're sitting there with a gang mentality.
And that's exactly what the patriots have, a gang mentality. So does the liberals. That's all you have. What you think, like you said, you posting something on an Instagram post or Twitter or whatever, you think that's going to make every problem go away? You think just doing this or that's going to make every problem go away, even peacefully protesting? So what's the solution then? What's the solution? As far as I'm concerned, Blue Lives Matter has yet to figure out a solution. Black Lives Matter has yet to figure out a solution to the problem. What's your solution to the problem? That's all I see is a bunch of wannabe Rambos. Oh, we got to overthrow the tyrannical government. Yeah, that's what we should do. Oh my gosh. Really, dude. Get a life.
Which is a horrible mentality to have. We've seen that from the BLM protests. You're sitting there at home in the comfort of your home with a gang mentality, commenting on an Instagram picture of all things, thinking that you're doing good. Come on, man. Hey, shout out to Joe.
Introducing the new Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer. It's our most...
I honestly feel bad for those people. And that's why I never really, with haters and stuff like that, I never really talk back because I feel bad for them, man. People can talk all they want, but let's see action. A comment on an Instagram picture isn't taking action. So you don't like one thing that the CEO, Evan Hafer, has to say? You don't like one thing he has to say? Sounds like life to me. My wife and I don't agree on shit, and we're still freaking married. My favorite part is these people getting so mad at Black Rifle Coffee Company saying that they want to cancel them or whatever. These same people want to fight for the freedom of speech so bad because you think the left is trying to take that from you. But when a guy from your side says one thing that you don't agree with, and you probably do agree, you just didn't hear the full context, you want to cancel them and shut them up. A lot of these far-right conspiracy theorists coming out against Black Rifle are starting to sound a little bit like those far-left sensitive Sallies, if you ask me. And if you...
A freaking man. You sensitive Sallies. And here you are still saying a bunch of bullshit. Red Reaper's nothing more than a loudmouth SOB. He's a loudmouth. He's talking all sorts of smack. Blah, 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 blah. Debate with me. Put your money where your mouth is. I invited people on my live streams, past 2 live streams. It's an open forum. You give your piece. You say your piece. But you haven't done it.
You just got triggered for me saying that. You are probably one of those sensitive Sallies I'm talking about. So grow up, numbnuts. Because you don't like one thing that the CEO has to say, you're going to paint this company as bad guys? That's your goal. Okay, so what are you going to do? You're going to cancel them? You're going to stop buying from them? That's what I've been seeing a lot of people say. So what company? So if you're a coffee drinker, because this is about a coffee company of all things, right? Like I said before, it's not like we're talking about the CEO running for freaking president. We're talking about a coffee company, ladies and gentlemen, okay? So you're going to cancel them. What are you going to go do now? You're going to go to Starbucks? What's better than this when it comes to conforming with your views? If you're so pro-American and pro-2A But you don't agree with one thing they had to say. What, you going to go drink Folgers now? Let's see them make a statement on the veteran community. I mean, where's the point of no return here? Oh, I'm going to go start my own coffee company then. That's probably what they're going to say. Good luck with that, man. I can't think of another coffee company out there that is doing more for people on the right. And yet, this company is getting the most shit from the right. I don't know what's going on. Overall, what are you accomplishing by hating on these guys from a New York Times article of all things? You know, what are you accomplishing? What's the end?
What are you accomplishing? Like, to this, just saying this, what are you accomplishing by, you know, threatening civil war? What are you accomplishing by pretty much arguing with conservatives or liberals, blah, 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 blah? You ain't accomplishing nothing. What are you accomplishing in peaceful protest? You ain't accomplishing anything. Notice that the red flag law and the one handgun per month law went into effect on July 1st, 2020 in my home state, Virginia. Yeah. You all did something when you peacefully protest. My gosh. Oh, man. That's all you care about. You conservatives and liberals, you care about controlling the people. You want to control what they can and cannot say. Man, you bunch of freaking... You say you're all for freedom. You're all for rights. No, I don't see it.